A few months ago, a deployed team brought to our attention a problem they encountered when transferring a patient with Reboa. The transferring team carried one particular type of pressure transducer, and the receiving team carried another. So what that meant is the receiving team also carried their particular type of pressure cables, and when they tried to connect the two, they would not fit. This is not a new issue. We've known for over decades that the DoD tends to stock two predominant types of pressure transducers, not only in the AOR, but also in CONUS and OCONUS MTFs. The two types are the Edwards style, which looks like an oval on the connection end, and the Abbott style, which looks like a large square phone jack. There are minor differences between the two transducers, but overall they carry the same functions. The connection fit, or the mismatch, is driven by the male connection on the transducer, indicated by A, and the female end of the pressure cable, which is indicated by B. When the two ends don't fit, this is a significant problem when transferring patients. This could impact the ability to continue to monitor arterial blood pressures, such as in this particular instance, ICPs, CVPs, and also bladder pressures. So when we performed our investigation, we contacted several MTFs and units to ask what types of pressure transducers and cable types they carried. And we created this map graphic. So any red arrows designates that those two particular units carry different types of equipment. If you look at the far right, for example, a patient at CAF that had an arterial line started and was then transferred to LARMC would have to have their entire pressure line replaced because at that particular time LARMC did not carry the cables that fit the transducers that CAF carried. In some instances, line replacement is necessary, but in others it's not. And so there was really a lot of waste involved and risk of dislodgement of the catheters when these perfectly well functioning lines were replaced needlessly. If you notice in the center, CCAT has green arrows all around. What that means is that approximately 17 years ago, CCAT realized this issue with the two types of mismatching transducer and cable types. And so their solution was, let's just carry both types of cables. That way it doesn't matter what type of transducer the patients have that we need to transport, we'll be ready for either one. A working group was formed and started looking into this issue on January 31st, 2020. Our primary goals were to first inform the field of these mismatch issues so that they could then prepare. We then provided the pressure cable national stock numbers to all the units so that they could order and stock both cables that would fit both oval and square pressure transducers. The units have to confirm that if they carry anything other than the Zoll ProPack cardiac monitor, that the cables they order will fit their particular monitor. Again, we only provided the NSNs for the predominant type of cardiac monitor, and that was the Zoll ProPack. We advise teams that they zip tie and store both cables together so that they can be prepared regardless of what type of transducers their patients arrive with, and there would be no handoff or transfer delays. On the far left, you'll see the two types of transducers that we already previously described. On the far right, you'll see the connection port for the Zoll and the ProPack. That's the predominant type of cardiac monitor that we stock and carry in the AOR for transport. It's a 6-pin round prong, and in the center you'll notice the cable types. Both of the right ends look exactly the same to fit that Zoll ProPack. It's the left end that looks different. At the top you'll notice that that connector looks oval for Edwards, and at the bottom you'll notice that it looks like a square phone jack for Abbott. We advise that teams order and carry both types of cables. We provided the national stock numbers for both, and that they then zip tie the cables so that way they'll be prepared no matter what type of transducers their patients have that are transferred in, they'll be prepared. So our investigation concluded with providing the NSNs for the cables that would fit the Zoll and the ProPack. If you carry another type of monitor, then you'll have to reach to your medlog to get their help to identify the right cable and the national stock number so that you can order cables that will fit the transducers to your cardiac monitor.